everybody, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday morning, May the 27th, and time once again for the mailbag. I hope you guys have had a great week and a great weekend. Mine's been decent. I have been slowly but surely, hopefully, getting over my sore throat. I am not nearly, at least I don't think, as scratchy as I was earlier in the week. Fingers crossed that that gets better. So, okay, that's good news. Otherwise, what do I have in the way of announcements? Well, I have some announcements for things happening in July that might be of interest. One of them pertains, of course, to the BookTube SFF Awards. Remember those? That's right, that is still happening. We are trying to pull together, as judges, a week that will be compatible, or a weekend that we will all have free to do the live show on. And that's always the most difficult part of this, trying to schedule that live show, because everybody seems to have, oh, no, I'm not free this weekend because of a family thing, or I've got a work thing, and that just, the more judges we add, of course, that just gets worse, right? It's just a natural byproduct of that. But we all now seems to be circling on a period right around the middle of July, maybe around like the 14th or something like that. Not quite finalized it, not quite ready to make the formal announcement, but that is what we're looking at. And once we do announce it, of course, it will be on the Goodreads group for the BookTube SFF Awards, and also on our individual channels. But if we do it, of course, that means that we will be extending through the month of June, the reading period, for all of those of you who want to still catch up on reading some of the shortlisted works, right? And so that'll be a good thing. That'll be some extra time for you guys. Another thing that I am planning in July, that's me personally, not the awards, is that I've got a new feature that I'm going to be starting that I'm pretty excited about, and that I've been thinking about for some time, and that pertains to reading and reviewing works of science fiction and fantasy in translation. And I've really been wanting to focus some more on this because there is a lot of thrilling and exciting work out there. I've been wanting to kind of give it some coverage in a way that it's really focused, right? And I've been trying to figure out how to do that. And so I have come up with this thing that I am calling Translation Tuesday. Yes, it's alliteration, and alliteration is cheesy, but I am who I am, all right? No apologies. But the idea is that every other Tuesday, I'll be posting a review of an SFF book in translation. And I'm pretty excited about what I've got scheduled to start with. So my tentative schedule right now for July will be that on the 2nd, I'll be reviewing The Redemption of Time by Bao Shu. That's the new 3-body novel by a different author. That looks exciting, and translated by Kin Liu. And then on the 16th, 2 weeks after that, I'll be reviewing Waste Tide by Chen Q Fan, another Chinese work of science fiction, translated by Kin Liu. And then on the 30th, I am going to be doing a belated but highly anticipated review of a fantasy novel that many reviews that I have seen have hailed it as one of the best of its year, last year. And that is a book by Russian authors Sergei and Marina Dyachenko called Vita Nostra. And so I'm really, really excited to be covering that. So that's July for Translation Tuesday. The idea is that, unless I announce a break week or something like that, every other Tuesday I'll try to, at least review something, until I run out of things. But I'm not likely to run out of things anytime soon, okay? So those are the announcements. Got 2 weeks worth of a mailbag here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into them, shall we? And this first one is a little package from Simon & Schuster, so I'm going to thank Saga Press. Okay, I thinked incorrectly. These are a couple of arcs for some Simon & Schuster YA titles, which I don't usually get, but it's nice to see. All right. This first one is a book called Exile from Eden, and the author is Andrew Smith, and this is apparently the sequel to something that I am not familiar with called Grasshopper Jungle. Oh, wow, okay. And it's a book all about bugs, apparently. Exile from Eden, on sale September 24th, is a worthy follow-up where Grasshopper Jungle was shock and awe. Who else has read a book about horny man-eating praying mantises having sex with and eating humans, wiping out the population and taking over the world? YA sure has changed from when I was a kid, I tell you. Exile from Eden is a spectacular, poignant contemplation on what happens post-end of the world, presumably when you have no more giant praying mantises scurrying and eating you. Wow, okay. Grasshopper, they're making it into a movie, evidently, directed by Edgar Wright. Fascinating, okay. So Exile from Eden is stunning, compelling, and even more hilarious and beautifully bizarre than its predecessor. Okay? And it comes out September the 24th. Sounds really buggy. And it's another Simon & Schuster YA arc from that same package. This one is for a book that comes out July the 23rd. It's called How We Became Wicked by Alexander Yates. And this one also seems to have an insecty theme on the cover. It says it mirrors discussions around immigration and the refugee crisis, as well as sheds light on themes of classism, privilege, and entitlement. Okay. When an insect-borne plague begins to envelop the world, 3 16-year-olds struggle to survive amongst the healthy trues and the infected wickeds. A plague called wickedness is pulsing through the world, and in its wake, it's dividing the population into thirds. The wicked, already infected by the droves of singers, the ultraviolet mosquito-like insects who carry the plague. The wicked roam the world freely. They don't want for much, only to maim and dismember you, but don't worry, they always ask politely first. Okay? The true live in contained, isolated communities. They're the lucky ones. They found safety from the singers, and while the threat of the wicked may not be eliminated, for the true the threat has certainly been contained. And finally, there are the vexed. The vexed are the truly fortunate ones. They survived the sting of the singers, leaving them immune, but they're far from safe. The vexed hold the key to a cure, and there are those who will do anything to get it. In this brilliantly realized novel, 3 teens, Astrid, Hank, and Natalie, start to realize that the divisions of their world aren't as clear as they seem and are forced to question what being wicked, truly means. So there we are. Wow. Well, I guess this is a new YA trend. The insects are coming for us. But How We Became Wicked, as I said, comes out July the 23rd. Okay, next up we're going to move on to this box here from the Hachette group. So this could be exciting. And it is a couple of Orbit titles, starting with Children of Ruin by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is his much-anticipated sequel to Children of Time, which won the, I think, Arthur C. Clarke Award and perhaps the British SF Society Award as well. Again, this one's spiders, guys. Yes, we went from praying mantises to ultraviolet mosquitoes, and of course now we have giant intelligent space spiders. All right? So this is, if you're an arachnophobe or, as someone who's freaked out by bugs, this is probably not your week for the mailbag. I'm sorry. I don't plan these things. They just happen. All right? But anyway, Children of Time was hailed as, just about the best science fiction novel of its year when it came out about 3-4 years ago. And Children of Ruin is at last here. And it is out now from Orbit Books. And the next book in that box is Unbound Empire. The Unbound Empire, 3rd book in the Swords and Fire trilogy by Melissa Caruso. The first books were The Tethered Mage and The Defiant Heir. And as a few people that I know who have read these have quite liked them, and so I'm kind of interested in this trilogy, getting started in it. And now it's here and complete, so to be binged, as it were. So The Unbound Empire, I believe this one is also out now from Orbit. And this next one comes in from HarperCollins. And I'm really happy to have this because this is one that I've been seeing some buzz about and I've really been looking forward to it. This looks like to be a new decopunk fantasy from the author W.M. Akers, which I don't know if that's a pseudonym or what. Award-winning playwright, it says. But this is his debut novel. All right, so not a pseudonym. But this is set, as I said, in the 1920s during the Jazz Age, and I guess I'm just going to have to read it this way because there's no sell sheet. New York is dying, and the one woman who can save it has smaller things on her mind. It's 1921, and a 13-mile fence running the length of Broadway splits the island of Manhattan, separating the prosperous East Side from the West Side, an overgrown wasteland whose hostility to modern technology gives it the flavor of old New York. Thousands have disappeared here, and the respectable have fled, leaving behind the killers, thieves, poets, painters, drunks, and those too poor are too desperate to leave. It's a hellish landscape, and Gilda Carr proudly calls it home. Slightly built, but with a will of iron, Gilda follows in the footsteps of her late father, police detective turned private eye. Unlike that larger-than-life man, Gilda solves tiny mysteries, the impossible puzzles that keep us awake at night, the small riddles that destroy us, the questions that spoil marriages, ruin friendships, and curdle joy. Those seemingly trivial cases distract her from her grief, and the one impossible question she knows she can't answer, how did my father die? Yet, on Gilda's west side, tiny mysteries can end in blood, even in the case of a missing white leather glove. Mrs. Copeland, a well-to-do East Side housewife, hires Gilda to find it before her irascible merchant husband learns it is gone. When Gilda witnesses Mr. Copeland's murder at a West Side pier, she finds herself sinking into a mire of bootlegging, smuggling, corruption, and an evil too dark to face. And it all happens on the West Side. By William Akers, and this one is out now in hardcover from Harper Voyager. All right, these keep churning out, don't they? This is The Princess Beard, and it is now the third book in this the books just keep flooding out faster than I can keep up. It's my problem, I guess. Well, this is following up Kill the Farm Boy and No Country for Old Gnomes, and this one comes out, The Princess Beard comes out October the 8th. Once upon a time, a princess slept in a magical tower cloaked in thorns and roses. When she woke, she found no Prince Charming, only a surfeit of hair and grotesquely long fingernails, which was honestly better than some creep who acted without consent. She cut off her long braids and used them to escape, but she kept the beard because it made a great disguise. This is not a story about finding true love's kiss, it's a story about finding yourself on a pirate ship where you belong. Okay, but these are no ordinary pirates aboard the Puffy Peach, serving under Filthy Lucre, the one-eyed parrot pirate captain. Now, it's about time that happened, right? Why not just make the parrot the captain of the pirate ship? Makes total sense to me. First, there's Vic, a swole and misogynistic centaur on a mission to expunge himself of the magic that causes him to conjure tea and dainty cupcakes in response to stress. Then there's Tempest, who's determined to become the first dryad lawyer, preferably before she takes her ultimate form as a man-eating tree. They're joined by Alobartolus, an awkward and unelfly elf who longs to meet his hero, the Snarkivist. There it is. The Snarkivist. Cute. Who is said to take dictation directly from the gods of Pell. Throw in some mystery meat and a dastardly capitalist plot, and you've got one pell of an adventure on the high seas. All right, so if you've been following... Actually, these are sounding more entertaining the more I read the descriptions of them. But The Princess Beard is happening on October the 8th from Del Rey Books. Well, I may have spoken too soon about my scratchy throat. Sorry, guys. But let's see. I'll try to get better about that. This one, it looks to be a little package. Very little package from Macmillan. Okay. I remember getting the ARC for this. You guys might remember that too. This comes out in paperback tomorrow, on the 28th, and it's called Shark Beach. And I am not entirely... Oh, yes, I kind of... Yeah, all right. I remember why... I remember at the time thinking, why is this SF null, right? Because it's just like sharks on the beach, right? But apparently it's more than that. Rick and Corinne Scully and their kids have visited Flora's captive island many times. This year they brought along their best friends who can't wait to finally experience the place the Scullys call paradise on Earth. So anyway, long and short of it is that sharks happen, and there is a military research facility nearby, and these sharks are test subjects that escaped during a recent hurricane, apparently. And now they're like, swimming towards, where there are people to eat, evidently. So could be all kinds of fun. With a book like this, I just need nothing but 300 pages of, sharks eating swimmers. That's really all I need. I need nothing else. Okay, I need no deep messages about the human condition or life or philosophy or anything of that nature. All right? But this Shark Beach comes out tomorrow, just in time for your beach plans, I suppose. Okay, and here is, that's a tightly bundled. These feel like more mass market paperbacks. And it comes in from Doll Books, and this is a mass market edition of the Immortal Wrench I by Mickey Zucker Reichert. These are elf fantasies, I guess. I think so, yeah. I think so, yeah. And this is the third book in a trilogy. And then it is the third trilogy that this author has written about the Wrench I. So obviously there's a following. I don't know if any of you are among that following, but if you are, then you'll be happy to know that the Immortal Wrench I is now or very soon available in mass market paperback from Doll Books. And moving on, we have another Random Penguin package. This one looks like it could be fascinating. Something different anyway, at least for Doll Books. This comes out from DAW. This is an arc for a book coming out on October the 8th. And the author is Kay Eason. All right? And the book is titled How Rory Thorn Destroyed the Multiverse. It's the first novel in a duology, subverting classic fairy tale tropes in a wonderfully reimagined space opera. Eason delivers a fairy princess story unlike anything you've ever read. Of the 13 fairy blessings Rory Thorn received at her birth, the gift of seeing through flattery and deception would prove most useful for a girl whose own betrothal is orchestrated by the same man who assassinated her father. In a world where women are pawns for marriage and never considered to be a threat, Rory learns to take advantage of being underestimated. By the time she's finished asserting her own place in the world, the men she has left in her wake are faced with seeing her for what she truly is, a rival. A force to be reckoned with, Rory is a character you can't help but root for. Lucky for us, this is only the first chapter in her story. Okay, and I guess at some point she gets around to destroying the multiverse, which is probably pretty exciting. But Kay Eason is the author and has published some books earlier with 47 North, apparently. So, coming out October the 8th from DAW Books. Well, this next one is a bit of a mystery package. It just comes in this box here that's made to look all ominous and top secret. It says, "You will change, you might survive." And then on the back here it says, "Once you open, there's no turning back." Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, you've got me hooked now, I suppose. Let's see. Oh, is this going to be one of these things that's packed so tight that I can't open the box without tearing it? Oh no, it's not like that at all. Just lift up, Thomas. Derp. Here we go. There's a book in it. Oh my. Oh, good heavens. Oh, yeah, okay. My whole attitude has completely changed because this is the arc for a book called Wilder Girls. The author is Rory Power, and I've been reading up on this. I've been seeing some advanced buzz, and it looked very interesting to me. So yeah, I actually requested this one. I'll just go ahead and read up. I just wasn't expecting it to come in that kind of elaborate package, that's all. All right, it has been 18 months since the Raxter School for Girls was put under quarantine, since the tox hit and pulled Hetty's life out from under her. I guess that means toxin, maybe some kind of a disease. It started slow. First, the teachers died one by one. Then it began to infect the students, turning their bodies strange and foreign. Now cut off from the rest of the world and left to fend for themselves on their island home, the girls don't dare wander outside the school's fence where the tox has made the woods wild and dangerous. They wait for the cure they were promised as the tox seeps into everything. But when Byatt goes missing, Hetty will do anything to find her, even if it means breaking quarantine and braving the horrors that lie beyond the fence. And when she does, Hetty learns that there's more to their story, to their life at Raxter, than she could have ever thought true. So, yeah, it seems like all kinds of layers of mystery in this little story. Plus, a rather creepy apocalyptic plague setting, which I, always can kind of go for. It's not quite like giant praying mantises eating your head off or anything like that, but it's a plague, and that's the next best thing. All right, so in July, Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Okay, so that one went back in its fancy box. And here we just have another, probably less elaborate package, but still from Random Penguin. Oh, and I think this one is going to make a lot of people happy. If you are fans of Juliet Marillier, this is an arc for The Harp of Kings, comes out September the 3rd, and it is billed as a new historical fantasy series. All right, then. Let's see. Wildly known for her successful Seven Waters and Blackthorn and Grimm novels, Juliet Marillier is back this fall with The Harp of Kings, the first book in the Warrior Bards series, a lush historical fantasy set in Ireland. The Harp of Kings boasts rich, evocative language, a fierce heroine, and a touch of romance. Perfect for fans of Naomi Novik, this series is an intoxicating blend of fantasy and folklore. All right? At Swan Island, young recruits are trained as warriors and spies. And I'm not going to pronounce this name correctly, but Lioban, a headstrong fighter, and her brother, a gifted musician, are among the most promising trainees on the island. Desperately competitive, Lioban is determined to be one of the few chosen to permanently join the elite warrior band. So when they're chosen to complete a mission, rare for recruits still in training, she jumps at the chance to prove herself. Sent to locate a prized harp that has gone missing, Lioban and the other recruits must navigate a magical world of intrigue and otherworldly powers. All right, I'm looking forward to this one, and I'm sure a lot of you are too, because Juliet Marillier has quite a following. But September the 3rd from DAW Books. Oh, my mistake. Ace Books. Sorry. Ace Books, still Random Penguin. Okay, the old scratchy voice is still hanging in there, you guys. 3 more to go, looks like. 3 or 4 anyway. This one comes in from Macmillan. All right, this is A Chain Across the Dawn by Drew Williams, and it is the sequel to his book, The Stars Now Unclaimed, which feels like it just came out a few months ago. But these are space operas, light-hearted space operas, as it were. And I guess this one continues. It says this one came out, oh gosh, this came out May the 7th. All right, a little while back. With enough epic space battles and flawed but lovable ragtag characters to please all fans of Firefly, The Expanse, and Becky Chambers' Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, this is your chance to catch up on the adventures of snarky agents and superpowered kids in a galaxy ravaged by the Pulse. Jane Kamali and Issa are agents for the Justified, who find and recruit children who share Issa's supernatural gifts. On a visit to a particularly remote planet, they learn that they're not the only ones searching for gifted children. As Issa and Jane track their strange foe across the galaxy, it becomes clear their enemy may be harder to defeat than they ever could have imagined. All right, so this one sounds like it picks up from the first book right off, but it's available now. A Chain Across the Dawn from Tor Books. And this one is also in from Tor, and I'm very, very happy to see it. This is Magic for Liars, a book by Sarah Gailey, who wrote the American Hippo stories. And this one comes out on June the 4th from Tor Books. And it goes like this. Mix the sly coming-of-age elements of Lev Grossman's The Magicians with the noir and edge of Jessica Jones. Shake well and serve over ice to get Magic for Liars. The debut novel from Hugo Award nominee and debut author Sarah Gailey. Debut novel, not debut author, really. Anyway, Magic for Liars channels the flushed, youthful intensity of Megan Abbott's You Will Know Me with a school for mages, hidden in the hills of Southern California. As its backdrop, Ivy Gamble, a disagreeable, non-magical private investigator with a slight drinking problem, works to solve a murder at a school for mages where her estranged and very magically talented sister teaches. The dark and fantastic secret she uncovers not only shed a stark light on her case, but on her own family history and the life she could have led. So this one will be out on June the 4th from Tor Books, Magic for Liars. And we have another Random Penguin package. This is one of these big vacuum-sealed packages that are impossible to open, and I always complain about them. Oh, all right. Well, I wasn't expecting this. I don't usually get this sort of thing, although I have, on occasion in the past, gotten a few volumes from this series. But this is a new book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, young adult series, I believe, by John Flanagan, which has gone on for something like, God, looks like 20 books or something like that, just over the years. But what does it say? The Royal Ranger series continued in 2018's The Red Fox Clan, and May 28th, so I guess that's tomorrow, marks the release of the 3rd installment, Duel at Araluen. Well, I have not read any of these, again, because it's one of these series that's just so massive. You're like, where do I start, and do I even have... But if you have been following it all these years and you're a big fan, well, then you are happy to know that the next one will be out tomorrow. Duel at Araluen, or Araluen, one of those. Okay, and the final package this week comes into us from... oh, that's my voice. I'm going to drink quite a lot after this taping is over, I'll tell you. This one comes in from HarperCollins. And we're wrapping up this week with the arc for a book called Boundless, which is the follow-up to Timeless. This is a new fantasy novel by R.A. Salvatore, and it is another novel featuring his very popular character Drizzt. I just took a look at the title page and the list of all the other books, and going down the years through all the different series that he has written about this character, this would appear to be the 35th Drizzt book. Although this is the second in a new trilogy, and presumably they say that it might be one that you, if you have never read it before, you can start just with this one, if you're at all curious. Although I think I had someone in my comments not long ago saying, no, you can't really do that. You really need to know a little bit more about the lore. But in any event, yeah, if you are a fan of this character and of this author, well then, Boundless will be out on September the 10th from Harper Voyager. And there you have it. That is it for the mailbag this week. Quite a lot of stuff. A real mixed bag of things. Very, very curious mixed bag of things. But hopefully, in and amongst all of it, you might find a few items of interest to you. You know the drill. Light up the comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, And above all, please subscribe. If you have not done so, that is how the channel grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits in the Ranks Army get little perks like getting to see some of my videos the night before. I want to say thank you to those people, especially for their additional support. It is much, much, much appreciated. I want to thank all the rest of you for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube. And until I see you next time, hopefully with a bit more of a healed up voice, happy reading.